Jaylen Brown had one of his best passing games as a Celtic, and why the team was like water. Right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT Karalis, recap the madness every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Plus like Drew to KP, tap in daily. Primetime Depp and D White on the sideline. Rain and Jayson, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day, and I got you covered every Monday through Friday. Plus this week, it's every day, just every day, Saturday, Sunday, because they play almost every day. So I'll have a podcast for you all week long. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section. Share your thoughts on the Boston Celtics 130-120 win over the Detroit Pistons, pesky Detroit Pistons team. A team where you can kind of see, I can see where it's going. I can see the formation of something positive there. So, hey, look, good for them. I'm John Karalis, by the way. If you're new to the show, maybe you're a Pistons fan coming over to see what we've got cooking. I have been covering the Celtics for about 20 years now, and I've been doing it as the beat writer for Boston Sports Journal for the last few years. I'm also the author of Built Different. Buy it right now at johnkaralis.com. $30 gets it signed, personalized, sent to your door, delivered within the United States. Order quickly because it's, you're running out of time to get stuff shipped in time for Christmas if you want to get it as a gift. Today's show brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers who place a $5 bet can get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Join FanDuel.com to get started. I'm going to get started here with this game, which was won in the first quarter. The Celtics outscored the Pistons 39-24. That's a 15-point difference. The Celtics were outscored by 5 in quarters 2, 3, and 4. Basically, outscored by 5 in the fourth quarter is how this works out, because you can do the math. Second and third quarters were even. Fourth quarter, the Celtics lost it by 5. So the first quarter is where the Celtics got the job done. And the first quarter was really good. So you win this in the first quarter basically by getting 8 turnovers that lead to 13 Celtics points. The Celtics had 5 steals in that first quarter. That's how you pile up a lot of points. They blocked a couple of shots. Those were both by Kristaps Porzingis. Jaylen Brown was 5 of 8. He dished out 3 assists, so a 16.3 assist first quarter for Jaylen Brown to set the tone for the Celtics. Great defense from him early on. We saw some early contributions from Derek White, Kristaps Porzingis, Payton Pritchard hit a couple of shots in the early going. When you drop 39 points, there's a lot of points to be distributed amongst everybody, but it was the defense where they held the Pistons to 9 of 20 shooting overall, those 8 turnovers, those 5 steals. Like I said, the Celtics turned the ball over themselves 6 times, so it could have been worse. And the Celtics were always knocking on the door of a blowout here. They had the lead up to 20 in the fourth quarter. And I don't know if you want to say they relaxed. Maybe they didn't defend quite as well as they should have because Malik Beasley went off in the fourth quarter. This was such a lesson for people who are like, why are they so hung up on 3-pointers? I don't know why they go with the 3-pointers as much as they do. Well, this was it right here. 6 of 14 for the Pistons in the fourth quarter, and that fueled them to a 32-point quarter. Beasley hit 3 of 5. Tobias Harris was 2 of 3. You can live with some of that, but also they got hot. You got to defend that 3-point line better, which is later on in the last segment. I'll talk about this shifting kind of defense. We'll talk about the individual performances there coming up in the next segment. But basically, the Celtics scored early, scored in bunches, defended well early, and then it kind of went away. They held the Pistons to 24 points in the first quarter, then 34, 30, and 32. Not good. That's just not good. And it was, I think, interesting that they went to shorter rotations overall. They went to Drew Peterson early in the first quarter, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. All of that in the first quarter, I believe. Yeah, 3:22 all in the first quarter. Subbed out, wasn't working. He's done. They went with Jordan Walsh for a little bit. That didn't work out. They went with Xavier Tillman. That didn't work out. He only played 8 minutes. In fact, Tillman's minutes. Jaylen hits him with a kick out to 3. This was in the second half, in the third quarter, I believe. And he went to drive, and it didn't go well. He ended up doing a forward tumble somehow. Didn't go great for him. So they cut the rotations down to 7. It was your starting 5, which were no Jayson Tatum, no Jrue Holiday. Important kind of thing to remember here when you're missing Tatum, when you're missing Holiday. I know that you have a lot of capable guys, and I'm going to talk about the versatility in a minute. It's still no Tatum, no Holiday, and you've got to find where in that lineup, where are you going to get your production from? Who's going to do what? How are people going to step up? So finding a way to win, no matter if it's against the Pistons or the Cavs or the Thunder, it doesn't matter. If you're down a couple of guys, you find a way to win. You win by 10. I'll take it. Let's move on. Was it great? No. Are they going to hang it in the Louvre? No. It's going to be this is a defensive effort that was awesome in the first quarter and terrible the rest of the way. Mostly, they turned it up in spots when they needed to. I think maybe the schedule, not to make excuses, but maybe, a couple of days, they know there's a couple of games coming up, and I don't know, maybe they've decided like, hey, we're going to try to outscore the Pistons the rest of the way. We've played our defense. We've got that 15-point lead. We're just going to try to outscore them the rest of the way. And I can sit here and be critical of it. I can be like, oh, this was not the prettiest game, but they won by 10. And ultimately, you chalk it up. You go into the film session on Thursday. Joe Mazzulla can, swear at these guys and yell at these guys and be like, you got to try harder. And maybe they will against Milwaukee and against Memphis. Marcus Smart coming back to Boston to play for the first time, presumably. Maybe that's where the juice is going to be. They're saving it for the Bucks and the Grizzlies, knowing that there's 4 days off after that. Whatever it is, it is. They won it without Jayson, without Jrue, and that's because Jaylen Brown was, at least for the first half, doing everything, attacking. Big dunk on Isaiah Stewart, just big, incredible. It's almost surprising that when he went up from my angle, because I'm kind of like behind the play at that end of the court, it was a little surprising to see him go up and like finish that. I thought he was a little further away. I thought the contact would keep him away from the rim. All of a sudden, he's just hanging on the rim. And then he does the neck slash. That's probably going to get him a fine. You might be like, what are you, crazy, John? But he even said after the game, the NBPA and the league have had discussions about these gestures. We asked them, are you going to, do you think you're going to get a call about that? He goes, oh yeah, that's going to be, it's probably a fine coming his way. That's the one gesture that always gets one. But the dunk itself was incredible. And a little chippiness later on because Isaiah Stewart is Isaiah Stewart. Beef stew is always going to get into the mix. So, but Jaylen was incredible. And Jaylen was part of this versatility. Celtics like water. It's the Bruce Lee quote. I'll explain it all if you haven't heard it when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by Chime. You can take control of your finances by using Chime. The Chime checking account features no monthly or maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft for up to $200, and getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Those are all very good features, things that I wish I had, but banks were not as evolved when I was starting my checking account. Maybe I'll just switch it over to Chime. That makes sense. You can, I know that it's the holidays and is easy to get overextended. So Chime helps with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Your next deposit is applied to your balance, right? There's no monthly fees, maintenance fees. Here's how it works. You set up your direct deposit with your Chime account. After a qualifying direct deposit of $200 or more, Chime will notify you to enroll in SpotMe. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance. So Chime never charges overdraft fees for using SpotMe. Overdraft fees are stupid, so this is a great way to avoid them. Enjoy the holidays and keep your financial goals on track with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That's chime.com/NBA. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by Bancorp Bank NA or Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Direct deposit timing depends on submission of payment file. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs for OTC withdrawals. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Make sure you're reading our daily newsletter, lockedondaily.com. Sign up for the Locked On Celtics newsletter. Locked On Celtics, Celtics content there, NBA content, fantasy content, all delivered directly to your inbox Monday through Friday. Check it out, lockedondaily.com. There's a great quote that Bruce Lee had. It's one of my favorites. I love it. He says, be formless, shapeless like water. You put your water in a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. It is great. It means be versatile, be adaptable. Understand that the world around you is changing and you need to be open to the change. Whatever you need to be, you can be. And in basketball, in these Celtics especially, that is an incredible skill to have. Jaylen Brown, we'll start with him. His vision in this game was incredible. Jaylen's ability to see things on the floor has gotten so much better over time. If you were to tell me 5 years ago that this would be the podcast, this would be the discussion that we're having today, I would have been like, no way. Jaylen is only a straight line driver who, yeah, he'll dunk on people, but he'll only pass the ball when he gets into trouble. He's not manipulating defenses. And now he's manipulating defenses a little bit more. The Celtics, when they're whole, have guys that are asked to do certain things. Tatum is asked to do a lot of the heavy lifting as far as drawing double teams, getting other guys involved, starting the flow of the offense. Jaylen is more of a catch and shoot or catch and create off of the catch kind of guy. He obviously does initiate the offense sometimes, but that's more Tatum's role. And there are other guys. Pritchard has emerged. Obviously, you got Jrue Holiday. You've got Derek White. Bunch of guys who can do it. But with Tatum and Holiday out, Jaylen steps into this role. And his ability to read the defense, read it at multiple levels, and find the outlets is getting better. And it's really good. Like he's gotten really good at it. Is it always perfect? No, but as he said, he's worked on his weaknesses from earlier in his career, and he's grown into this player. This is his athletic peak. This is the peak of his career. This should be his best basketball, and it is. He can get by most defenders at will. We saw him do that over and over again against the Pistons. Pistons are, the Pistons, and we're not going to go crazy about, oh my God, he got past these guys on the Pistons. But they're, they're in the top half of the league defensively. They've won 9 games because of their defense. Mostly, they're not a great offensive team. They're not a great shooting team, even though they buried a ton of threes in this game. Which, outlier performance. You're not going to get too crazy about it, but we'll talk about that shifting defense in a minute. The Celtics and Jaylen Brown being able to get to the rim, drive, kick, swing. You hear me talk about it all the time. Drive, kick, corner 3, drive, kick, swing, top of the key 3, Kristaps Porzingis, or swing, drive it again, secondary attack. We didn't see secondary attack a ton in this game, but I think part of Jaylen's, progression has been the occasional incentive to pass being that you get the ball back. And it does happen from time to time where you drive, kick, swing, that next guy drives. Jaylen, who has driven down the middle, peels off and goes to a corner, the opposite corner where he started the pass. You pass it to the right corner, you go to the left, and you're waiting there. When the defense is in rotation, there's a good chance you're going to get the ball back and get that shot. So knowing that, it's a lot, it's an incentive to make that pass in the first place, because by drawing the defense and kicking, you've created the chaos. You're going to get an open look at some point yourself. But being able to do that is part of his progression. Without Tatum, without Holiday, he becomes that guy. He had 9 assists in this game, and he could have had a lot more. The Celtics shot poorly in the second half. Their second half numbers, let's see, overall were, here we go. I'm just filling time. 39.6%. I told you I'd get there. 19 of 48. So they missed 29 shots. 10 of 27 from 3. So Jaylen had 9 assists. He did have 4 in the fourth quarter, but he could have had more, right? Porzingis missed a bunch of shots. Derek White missed a bunch, all 8 shots that he took. Pritchard missed, he had half his shots, but he missed a couple that he probably could have made. So Jaylen could have had a 5 or 6 or 7 assists fourth quarter easily. I think his potential assists are going to be off the charts. His career high assists it is 11. He could have broken that in this game if a couple of other shots went down. But the potential assists, I'm looking forward to seeing what those numbers are whenever they're calculated, because there are a lot. But you got guys like Sam Hauser. You got guys like Payton Pritchard who are getting different levels of opportunity. And I talked to Porzingis after the game and asked him about the concept of guys are in, I'm going to say, in a certain box. When they're fully whole, when the Celtics are fully healthy, there are certain, Payton Pritchard does certain things. Sam Hauser does certain things. Different guys do certain things. And yeah, you're supposed to read and react, and everybody has green lights to shoot and all of that stuff. But when everybody's healthy, they do certain things. You take guys out, and Pritchard steps up and gets more shots. Hauser steps up and gets more shots. Hauser was incredible in this game. Not just shooting, which he did well. He hit 5 of 10 from 3, 7 of 12 overall, 20 points, but he was a plus 13. He was second best behind Porzingis and Brown. And he started the game, so that helped. But he played great defense early on, especially switching onto Cade Cunningham and holding his own. That was incredible work from him. You ask him to play 31 minutes, he plays 31 minutes. You ask him to be a defender, he's a defender, right? Be water. You can be what you want to, what you need to be. You can fill the role that's there. Jaylen needed to be more of a facilitator, and he dishes out 9 assists. It could have been more. Payton Pritchard, closer. He's not usually the closer, but here he is. He's been Mr. Fourth Quarter in recent games, and here he was in the fourth quarter, dropping 12 points, four of 6 in the fourth quarter. Again, he's the guy that shuts the door and does what the Celtics need him to do. The versatility of all of these guys to be what the Celtics need them to be is incredible. It's incredible to see. So I'm just impressed at this versatility and their ability to be water. When they play the Bucks on Friday, it's possible that Sam Hauser plays 20 minutes instead of 30. Pritchard can play 15 minutes instead of 34, and he'll do whatever he needs to do, right? He doesn't care. Like, everybody wants to shoot. Like, it's funny. Porzingis said, he was asked, how do you feel about, is it the pressure off being on a team where you don't have to score as much? And he's like, well, honestly, I want to take 40 shots a game because of course you do. You play basketball, you want to shoot all the time. Who plays basketball and is like, nah, shoot, nah. I mean, Ben Simmons, but other than Ben Simmons, who? So these guys doing what they do when they're asked to do little bits, and then being able to grow their game and mentally able to do it and not complain and not worry and all of that stuff. That's incredible. It's all incredible. And it helps that they're contractually, they're all taken care of. So all of that distraction is taken away. And, I don't want to go on a deep tangent. Maybe this could be a discussion for tomorrow. Brad Stevens locking everybody up takes away that thing. So it allows everybody to be versatile and all of that stuff. Let's talk about Porzingis. Let's talk about his impact, the shifting defense. The Celtics defense is changing. I don't know how that's going to work out, but it is changing. We'll talk about that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel can help you make every moment more at America's #1 sportsbook, because you can get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. If you're a new customer, you sign up at FanDuel.com. You place your first $5 bet. You win $150 in bonus bets. You get everything you need to place live bets on the NFL or NBA all in one place. So if you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check the latest stats, live play-by-play, and a ton more. And it's all on the same page where you place your bets. When you sign up, you can use the tools that they have available to gamble responsibly. Set your limits, set your budgets. They have it right there. It shows up automatically. You don't even have to go looking for it. It shows up. So use it. Whatever your disposable income is, whatever you can afford to spend, just do that and have fun. Take that first $5, place it on something you feel confident about. You get $150 in bonus bets if it hits. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Check out Locked On Celtics Postcast. If you're on this audio feed, you may notice 2 podcasts on the feed. That's because one of them is the Postcast, hosted by Steve Lennox, who fires up on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube page right after the game. You go check it out, hop in there, leave a comment, all of that stuff. Then the audio goes up onto the Locked On Celtics feed. You can see it clearly marked, the Locked On Celtics Postcast. That's separate from this one. Obviously, you're listening to this one, but there's 2 podcasts now. If you want to listen to one after the game, go to sleep, wake up, listen to this one. Do that. Have fun. We're giving you options. If you want to listen to more podcasts from us, we got them for you. All right, Kristaps Porzingis was back. Pretty good game. Not like dominant in any stretch. Like Sam Hauser had a dominant stretch. He was big in the third quarter, where he had 14 points, 5 of 8, 3 of 6. And the Celtics needed that because they were giving up their lead and they needed to come back. And there he was. Like I said, Pritchard had the big fourth quarter, 12 points there. Jaylen Brown had the first quarter, but Porzingis, just a nice, easy breezy 26 points on 8 of 17 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3, a couple of blocks. He's out there just doing his thing. But it is interesting to see, as I've noted on this podcast before, the shifting defense here that you see from the Celtics. The Pistons are a middle of the road 3-point shooting team. And here they are shooting 51%. The Celtics are a little bit more susceptible to the shooting variance thing. Shooting variance is just a team getting hot, right? A team that's not normally a hot shooting team getting hot. The Celtics had to take 53 3-pointers and made 21, which is great, just under 40%. That's good. But the Pistons shot 51.3% and made only one fewer. So now the Celtics getting to the line, going 19 of 25 versus 14 of 18 for the Pistons. Pistons were fouling a ton early, just gifting the Celtics points in the bonus, which was big. The Celtics hitting a couple more shots in, overall. There's your difference in a 10-point game. 5 points from the line, 3 points from the three, and a 2 in there, and there's your 10-point difference. Celtics needed it all. They're better at protecting the rim. Points in the paint, Pistons 38, Celtics 44. You haven't seen the Celtics win a whole lot of points in the paint battles this season. So because of the guys that were out, they start double big. They play a lot of double big. We saw Porzingis with not just Horford. It was Luke Cornett, who had a pretty good game as well. 4 of 6, 9 points. Did his little stir it up or eating or whatever the celebration was. That you will not get fined for that one. Although it was a little on the goofy side, so maybe you just throw like $50 fine his way for being too goofy with it. But he's funny. I'd say he is a funny guy. But the Celtics don't often win the points in the paint, and they did in this one. Since Porzingis is back, the points in the paint has leveled off a little bit. Not as big a disparity, but they're not getting out to the 3-point shooters as much. We expected that a little bit. Where's this water going to find its level? That's my question here, because you do have to find a balance. They do have to defend the 3-point line better. What we should be seeing is better rim protection and run teams off that 3-point line. Then you get to the mid-range shots. And if you can turn 20 made 3-pointers into 15 made 3-pointers and 5 long twos, that's 5 more points. Now it's a 15-point game, just a little bit more comfortable. So it's a shifting defense. It's a changing defense, but it still has work to do. Obviously, the Celtics gave up, like I said, 34, 30, and 32 points in the second, third, and fourth quarters. So you do not want to be giving up more than 25 in a quarter, giving up 120 points to the Pistons. They're not a good offensive team. That's kind of an indictment. Like Joe Mazzulla, as you're listening to this at some point on Thursday, Joe is probably going through the film session and berating his guys, being like, what is this? What is this quote unquote defense that you're playing? It was not ideal. So work for the Celtics to do. It's incredible to me that the Celtics have this much work to do, but they're 18-4. They're second in the East. In fact, they're second. Let's pull up the old NBA standings real quick. They're a game out of the East. Cleveland is 19-3. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 16-5. So the Celtics and the Cavs are the only two teams winning 80+% of their games. And the Celtics and the Cavs have split games with one another. They've got two of the 3 best point differentials. OKC's point differential is the best at plus 10.8. But Celtics with obvious things that they need to fix. Obvious things that they need to fix defensively. They are clearly resting guys here or there. We'll see what they do against the Bucks on the front end of the back-to-back versus the Memphis game. But they're not anywhere near a finished product, which Joe Mazzulla loves, by the way. And they're 18-4. So all of my little critiques and criticisms and all of that stuff, it's like, Yeah, that's great. We're 18-4. Okay. So I'll just shut up now because it doesn't matter. But it will matter down the road. They've got so much time. It's only December 5th. They've got so much time to work on this and fix it and hone it, that the fact that they're 18-4 while they're doing that is incredible. I feel like this is kind of something that we said last year, that they've got so much to prove, but they were on this pace last year, and they were still winning games. And we're like, wow, I can't believe they're still winning games as they're trying to figure this out. Here they are doing it again. We'll see where it goes. So podcast, like I said, obviously podcast tomorrow. This is the Thursday podcast, so podcast for Friday. And then we'll do post-game Friday night. Friday night, it's the Bucks. Saturday night, it's the Grizzlies. So podcasts after both of those games too. So make sure you're subscribed to get all this podcasting for you for free right to your device. So subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Get onto the YouTube page. Watch me. Hi, if you're watching, I'm waving to you. And get into the comment section. It's a lot of fun. I love seeing when the threads pop up in the comment section. People are talking to one another. That's a community. That's a great place. The Locked On Celtics YouTube page is a great place to build a community. It's actually a good comment section. So go check it out, get in there, and then share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.